tell me how you came to realize you've been up as a barber.
So I realized I was fucking up when I realized I was just too comfortable in my life. I always thought in my head, like, if I got to a certain point, like, oh, like once I charge $40 a haircut, like once I get there, like I'll be good. Or once I make a certain amount a week, like I'll be good. Once I got there, once I got to charge that price point that I thought I was gonna be set at, I realized like nothing really changed. I was charging more and I thought I was gonna be good, but like I wasn't happy.
What did you think was gonna happen?
I don't know. I just thought like once you get to that point, right? Once you get to that $40 mark, like it's kind of like, all right, like game over. Like you're making a certain amount a week, and then now you're like comfortable making that amount a week, And like I think I put it in my head like, oh, once I make $1,500 a week, like I'll be good. I don't have to worry about shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Like
Not really realizing that like $1,500 a week is not shit. You know what I mean? Like after it's all said and done.
Sure. So like for you, like what, like okay, so you make like you built it all the way up to 1,500. You make like that first week of hitting 1,500. Were you even excited? Like how quickly did it take for that thing to like the taste of like winning finally go away, or that taste of like, cool, I made it? It's like instant type of thing.
Yeah. So like when you hit 1,500, I remember the first time hitting 1,500 like consistently, right? And I was like, fuck yeah, like 1,500 week after week after week. And then the moment I realized like, oh fuck, was I was hitting 1,500 so consistently, and I was burnt out and I was tapped out on time, that I was like, oh shit, this is like my maximum, like this is my max. Like I can't cut more hair. There's not more like days in the week. Like, you know what I mean?
Was there
Like,
was there any point like where you kind of second guessed it? Cause like you're going through that, you get to that point, you finally get the goal, and now you're kind of second guessing. Was there any point in time where you're like, no, I might just be getting greedier. Oh, I'm not, like you try to like trick yourself into thinking like, no, this is good enough type of thing.
oh yeah, for sure, bro. And I think I convinced myself that like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like this is good. Like, like there was a part of,
what did you tell? What did you tell yourself? What was the bullshit you were saying?
oh God, bro. The bullshit I would say is like the people that I hang around with, like my friends and stuff, like they don't make this much money. So like, why am I complaining? Like, why am I bitching? You know what I mean? Like I'm making more than like these guys. Like I'm just complaining.
You're comparing to like people who don't run a fucking business. These are people who have a job, right? So it's just
Yep.
like, they're your peers, but they really haven't done or like improved their life. They just went ahead and got like the easiest job possible. You're like, well, I'm doing better than them, so I shouldn't complain about it, right?
Yeah, exactly, bro. And it was comparing myself to people that I shouldn't be comparing myself to. You know what I mean? And kind of like convincing myself in a way, like, yeah, just convincing myself, bro, that like, nah, like this is good. You know what I mean? Like this is where you should be, and it's game over. Kind of like, you know what I mean? Like you made it. Like this is your you made it moment, and then now like I'm good now. I'm good.
I feel like so many barbers get themselves in that like sex. Dude, I work with barbers who just like would tell you, hey, dude, like once you're there, just you made it. Like coast, like be happy, be thankful, right? Like, what did you do? Like,
Yep.
like I mean, I like me and you, like we talked before, we're people who like want more in life, especially like it's not typical like barber, right? What got you out of that mentality overall? Because obviously that's a deadly sight. Because you can continue just like trying to trick yourself over and over, like day after day, week after week. Like, no, I shouldn't be like greedy, right? What did you do? Was there like something you learned? Was it just something you heard? Like, what was that process for you?
Right. So I made it, right? So I made it. I'm making $40 a haircut or whatever, $1,500 a week. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm comfortable. So at this point in my life, I had gotten a house. I was making the money I wanted. Making the money that I was wanting to make. And then next thing I knew, like 3 years passed by, bro. And like I'm still in the same spot.
Yeah.
And I think it really hit me was after 2020, right? Like after all that bullshit happened. And, I was like, man, like I'm literally in the same spot that I was 4 years ago, and I'm not happy like whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Trick yourself. You were trying to trick yourself that you were happy too.
I was literally trying to like convince myself that I was happy. Yeah. And which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Barbers, do that a lot, they try to convince themselves that like, that this is it, like this is it. Like, bro, I made it, like what am I complaining about? I fucking made it.
Yeah. But like, what did you do? Because like here's the thing that I think it would add a lot of value. Because like people are going through this probably right now. People are in that scenario right now, like going through that, or they're tricking themselves. What did you do to get out of it? Like, what did you think? Did you read something? Did you come in contact with somebody who told you like, hey, dude, wake the fuck up? Like, what was the thing?
Well, like me
That's
myself,
the pivotal
like
moment, right? That's like the pivotal like red pill or blue pill. Like you're gonna go down the rabbit hole. You're gonna go like just go stay in like Wonderland type thing. Or I might have fucked that up, but like stay asleep or wake the fuck up and start going like getting after what you want.
yeah, exactly. Basically just seeing my friends, man, and like seeing them do the same shit every weekend. They go out drinking. They can't wait for that weekend moment. They drink all weekend. They do whatever. Then they work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then basically just not just seeing everybody stay so complacent in their life. And after years of trying to convince myself, I knew deep down inside, like I knew deep down inside, bro, that like I need to do something. Like this is not it. You know what I mean?
How old
And
were you? How old were you?
let's see, this was a couple years ago, so I was like 26. Oh no,
Did you
no,
ever
yeah,
realize,
like 26.
did you have a realization like, oh shit, like I just wasted some time in my life. I'm getting close to 30. Did that ever cross your mind too?
Oh yeah, for sure, bro. Because like I said, like when you're comfortable and like time goes by so fast, bro. And then I realized like, oh fuck, I'm almost 30. I have the same amount of money in my bank.
Did you have kids?
Like I'm I
Or
have kids. Yeah, I do have kids.
you did? Okay, so like that time you had kids, you're like, oh fuck, like shit isn't moving the direction where they're probably getting more expensive and shit. Like it's starting to catch up to you at this point, basically.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So like everything is getting more expensive. And I said I was just comfortable and just realizing, bro. I think you had messaged me on Instagram to join around that time, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I kind of like blew it off,
Okay.
blew it off. I told myself like like I can't charge 60, 70, 80, 90, $100, you know what I mean? Like that's just for like certain people and I'm not part of that group, you know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
Not really realizing that like anybody could fucking do it if you just shift your mindset into that way.
What were you
You
blaming?
know
The
what I mean?
clientele? Were you blaming your city? Like what? Like do you think your skill set wasn't good enough? What was your excuse? Everybody has like the same bullshit excuses. So which ones do you have?
Yeah, so I live in a city of a population about 100,000.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of small, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just like nobody here charges that much. I think at the time, like the barber who charged the most in my city was like $45. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Those are
So
the
I'm
best.
like, bro.
Those are
So
the best.
I was like, yeah, so I was like near my cap. I was at 40. So I'm like, man, I can't, like, this is like, I literally thought I was at my cap. Like, I can't charge more than this. You know what I mean? I look back in my notebook, bro, and I literally have in my notebook written down, once I get $40 a haircut, I will be set. Literally, I will be set. And I look back at that now and I'm like, I'll be set. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would like I look back at that and I literally laugh, bro, and I'm like, Jesus, I was so content with my life, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
geez, bro.
Yeah. 40. I mean, like, I mean, again, too, you probably wrote that when you started cutting hair, right? That you wanted $40.
No, I started no. I wrote that down like 3 years ago when I was charging like 30.
What the
Like
fuck?
before I was charging. Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
here's like $10 more and I'm good.
Exactly,
What the
bro.
fuck was going through your mind, dude? Like,
The 40 was the cap because my whole barbering career, I charged such a low price that this was like 7 years ago, bro. Back when like $40 was like high, you know what I mean? So I always had it in my head, like, man, if I could charge $40 one day, I'll be fucking good. I'll
So
be
do that.
set. You know what I mean?
You're stuck in this typical barber mindset. What shifted? Like, what did you? Was it like watching my content? Was it just like the fact that you saw people like, I was getting results? Like, what was the thing?
Yeah, I think it was like I said, you messaged me, so I started watching your stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I started watching a lot of your YouTube videos, a lot of your just all your stuff. And I think it kind of slowly kind of like went into my head, right? Like over time watching it. And then like I said, bro, just one day just I was like, I need to do something. Like fuck it. Like I'm gonna join. Like what is I hit this point where I was like, okay, if I don't join the program, I'm gonna be comfortable the rest of my life. And I know what being comfortable gets me, right? 3 or 4 years later pass by and I'm fucking miserable, charging $40 a haircut, and I'm at my cap at $1,500. And I was like, if I join, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work for me and I'm still in the same spot, Like I'm comfortable, still making $40. So I'm like, fuck it, I just need to join. You know what I mean?
Was there ever a moment where you thought you fucked up by becoming a barber?
No,
Hmm.
because No, because my standards were so low at the time. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
Yeah.
what do you mean like standards? Like you thought being a barber was like a good thing, basically. Like that was a pretty decent like job to get.
It was a good thing for me because I never thought that like I could make $1,000, $1,500 a week. You know what I mean? At
Sure.
the time, because when I first started cutting hair, bro, I was charging $11 a haircut.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was like, if I do like 9, 10 haircuts a day, that's $100 a day. You know, bro, my standards were even way lower back then. I was like, back then, I was like, if I could just make $600 a week, $600 a week, like I'm chilling. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like this started like way early? Because I have a hunch, dude, that like because the like majority of barbers were like very similar minded to this, right? And I didn't. I mean, I thought I fucked up being a barber initially. I'm like, well, how was I like just a little bit more different in that sense? For me, I know for myself, I always had high confidence in what I could do. Always wanted to get it to the top level. Well, did you ever like? I mean, just reflecting, even like again, do you take a short time to reflect, right, on this? But like, was there ever any moment like you kind of look back now, even on your childhood, where you, whether you were surrounded by small thinking people or even yourself, you just thought everything in your life, you just thought way too small of what's possible for your life?
What are you asking again? I'm sorry. Like, what's the
Like when
actual?
you were younger, like do you feel like this is something that happened when you were younger too, where everything like leading up to even just this moment when you again made that switch, like you know what, I can do this. Everything before that, every aspect of what you do, whether it be sports, school, I don't know, whatever you get in your life, like you just thought on such a small scale, right? This wasn't just in
Yeah,
one barbering career wise; it was everywhere with your life.
no, for sure, bro. Because like I said, I've lived here my whole life. I'm around. I have the same friends since elementary school. I'm around the same people. My family doesn't come from like a lot of money. You know what I mean? So I think I just you get so stuck into thinking what you can do with your life. You know what I mean?
Or like
Like I said,
what's just gonna get you by, right? Like what's gonna make you
yeah.
like a decent like life to where you're not struggling? Is that kind of like the
So
mentality?
yeah, so my mentality was like, yeah, $20 a haircut was like getting by.
Sure.
$40 a haircut was like I'm doing things big. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this: what did you think of people who make money, like a lot of money, right? Like who do you like big business owners, CEOs? Did you have a bad worldview of like how they acted prior? Like what was like your thoughts?
I think at the time it was just more like, they lived in a place where they got more stuff like available to them.
That they were different.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That like they kind of got lucky in a way. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like like a lot of luck was involved.
Sure.
Like, oh, they were born into it, or you know what I mean, their mom and dad already had money,
That's not
or
that's
you
not
know what
like
I mean?
my life plan. Like I wasn't born into that. I wasn't born into that life, so I can't become that. That's the thought process.
Yeah. No,
Mm,
for sure, bro. And I think that was the major shift that I needed, was telling myself like I can do this. Like
mm.
anybody can fucking do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think I realized too, like being like born into this family where like there's not a lot of money and stuff, or being around the same friends and stuff. I used to think it was like a bad thing, which it could be a very like a bad thing, right? Because you get stuck in the same rut. But like,
You
no,
can be
for sure.
it's a bad thing.
No, no, for sure, bro. But like, you being able to use it now, like as a good thing, as in like, okay, I know what this is now, and I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like I know what this life is like now, and I don't want to live it no more. You know what I mean?
Why do you think so many barbers struggle with that? Just in your, because you're a barber, you own a shop, and you have barbers like work for you. You've been around barbers for a while. Why do you think a lot of barbers struggle with that? Just in your opinion.
They're just comfortable, bro. They're just comfortable, and they don't think that like they can do more with their lives. You know what I mean?
It's the background thing again too, like how get to thinking maybe like the poor worldview of money of like, oh, that's not for me, I can't do that type of thing.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Because I mean, initially when you messaged me, that's why I didn't join the first time, was
Really?
because I was like, I can't charge those prices. Like, I thought I was at my cap. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, that's initially why I didn't join, because I was like, I can't charge those prices. Like, this guy is trying to tell me that I could charge $100. Like, I can't charge that. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
almost like you don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? But like,
What do you think it needs to change? Like again, I mean, I think we could always like, and that's partly why I wanted like start bringing on like guests onto the podcast and the videos of like talking to other barbers and their experiences, not just barbers who had success in the program, but also just barbers who like they see the world like they had a mind shift overall, right? Like,
yeah.
like what do you feel like most like barbers need to do? I mean, we could say you need to think bigger, right? But just in your opinion, what do you think like barbers like actionable steps or what should they do? In your opinion, again, too.
In my opinion, bro, I think most barbers, they honestly need to like reflect, bro. They need to sit there and think and like imagine themselves, right? So I think most barbers did the same thing I did. Like once I charge $40 a haircut, or once I charge even $50 a haircut, like I'll be fucking good, right? So then imagine yourself, I'm gonna charge $40. Like once I get there, I'll be good. $40 times X amount of haircuts a week. That's how much money you're making, right? Are you comfortable with making that amount of money for the rest of your life? You know what I mean?
It's a scary thing. I ask barbers that all day, and a lot of people say yes. That's the scary. That's the
See,
scary.
okay. So they say yes, right? Because I said yes
Yeah.
a while back, right? Because like I said earlier, I convinced myself, right? So this is where the self-reflecting part comes in.
Okay.
Ask yourself, why are you comfortable making this amount of money? And why can't you make more? Like, and I think most barbers aren't willing to admit that they're like afraid that to take a risk or think beyond what they've thought their whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because everything in life like derives from your beliefs, right? Everything you create derives
Yep.
from, right? If you believe it, of course, you're gonna make it happen. If you believe that you're gonna be like somebody who's gonna only work in McDonald's and only work in like a 9 to 5 job, can't run a business, you're right. If you think you can own a McDonald's or own the competition McDonald's, you're right, right? Like
Sure.
for you, because again, too, this wasn't something that came to you naturally. Like how did like again was there something like how did you what did you do to reflect? Because again, too, I think barber again too, because like I can already hear a barber, right? Oh man, what do I fucking do, right? Like how do I reflect, right? Some motherfucker doesn't even know how to sit down and fucking think. So like, what did you like? What would you do? Like, would you for you? Did you take it out pieces? Like, what worked for you? I know it worked for me. We can get into that later. But what worked for you in terms of like, did you write things down? Did you take a drive? Did you like watch interview? Like, what did you get around? What was your process? Because that's
Um, I think for me, bro, I like when I first noticed myself get into like this self like reflecting time a while back. I had just bought a lot of books, to be honest.
really.
I just did homework on like what books look interesting to me, or I would look like at like top 10 books that so and so recommends.
What
Like
was the
find
first book?
someone that
What was that first book that made you go, wow, like the mind blowing book?
um the first book that made me go, wow, that's a good question. I have a shit ton of books now. That's why.
Just that first
Um,
initial one where you're like,
Mindset. It's called Mindset, and I think
oh, that's
you
what,
know what book I'm talking about.
let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, Mindset.
Yeah.
It's called Mindset. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And I forgot how I came across that book, but yeah, that's the first book that I read from start, all the way to the end. And I actually studied it. I like highlighted stuff in it. You know what I mean? And
Have you ever done that to
that's
a
when
book
the
prior?
that's yeah, yeah. And that's when shit started to shift. You know what I mean? I started to like realize like, oh shit, like there's more than just what I'm thinking in my head and what my friends and everybody around me.
Hmm. Have you ever done that to a book prior, like highlighted it and like write notes and
No,
everything?
fuck.
Yeah,
No, 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 fuck no.
yeah,
The
yeah.
only books I read up until that point was the books that I was forced to read in like high school and shit, bro, which I didn't
I'm
even fucking
taking no
pay
notes on
attention
that
to,
shit.
bro.
Yeah.
But like I said, I had hit a point in my life where I knew I needed to make a change. So reading this book from beginning to end was so easy because I was super like interested in it. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Like so that started the rabbit hole. What about like that next one that like mindset? What was the next one? We'll just give people 3 books like that you felt were impactful. Mindset, what was the next one that made you go wow?
Mindset, the Money Makeover. Have you heard of that one?
No, I never read that.
Total Money Makeover. That's the first book I read that kind of taught me how to be smart with money.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that one was a big one. That's one of the first ones that I remember reading that I was like, okay, like I need to start to save money. You know what I mean?
Never
And start
thought
to be smart.
you never thought about like even just putting money away.
I did, like I was putting money away, but it was like cash in a box under my bed. You know
Sure,
what I mean? Like I wasn't like I didn't know shit about money really. Besides like, oh, it'd be cool to have like $1,000 stacked up somewhere, stashed in my room.
sure. Yeah, every barber has that like I think I had like 10, 15K, maybe 20K at one time. I
Yeah, I think one time, the most I had in a box, like in my room, was like about the same, like 15K.
yeah,
Yeah, and
and then
I thought it was the most boss shit ever, bro. I
right,
was like, I'm
it's
gonna
just
fuck,
bunch
I'm
of
gonna take
crinkled
this
up
shit over.
ones and shit. A couple were strippers assholes and shit. You're like, man, bro,
Yeah,
come on now, you a barber? Like, put that money in the fucking bank, bro.
dude, dumb. Yeah, now I look back, I'm like, fuck, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
But it was necessary for me to go through, right? To grow and learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think every barber needs to go through that same, like, just like learning what, how where to, like, just even a simple thing of putting money in the bank, right? Like I talk about this on like some podcasts, like, like most barbers, and I mean, I didn't realize this till later on, but the FDIC insures every bank account holder up to $250,000, right? So it's like, if you're worried about your money's more safe of like in there and it's insured rather than sitting under your bed, right? Where somebody could break and just take, which actually did happen to me too at one point in time.
Oh shit.
It's like,
Yeah, and I remember my mom actually like when she found out because at the time I lived with my mom, you know what I mean? And I remember when she found out I had that much money, she was like, "What the fuck are you doing with 15K cash in my house under your bed? Like, are you stupid?" You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
someone could just break in and like
yeah.
you better not let anyone know you have that much money in my
Yeah.
house. Like,
And
you know what I
every
mean?
barber's excuse is like, but I don't want to pay taxes on it. It's like, bro, what do you mean? Just fucking like, just put that on,
Bro,
have a paper
and
trail at least.
that's another big thing that's a point that you brought up. Like at the time, the barbershop I worked for was cash only. So I thought I was like a fucking baller, bro. Like no, like all this cash. And at the time, my first couple years as a barber, like I didn't pay any taxes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
like I feel like most barbers don't pay taxes.
Nobody does
You
when
know what I
you
mean?
first start out, bro. That's the worst thing. Like, and then try to get an apartment, try to get a car, try to get a loan, whatever you want to get. They're gonna say no because you don't have, like, legit on paper. You make nothing.
Yep,
There's nothing to show for it. And you're like, oh fuck me, right?
yep, exactly.
I remember trying to get my first apartment. Like I saw, I like when I was 19, before I started barber, this was a dumb mistake by me. I was in barber school, going to ballet, right? And I moved out with three friends into a house. Like I'm a fucking man. I just dropped out of college. I'm gonna fucking do this barber thing, right? And I'm gonna fucking live on my own. I'm gonna show you. And dude, like I moved out and like was just dead broke, right? Like really, was living month to month overall. I forgot where I was going with the point. What were we just talking about?
Like the money, like having like the money in the bank and shit.
I think we're talking about cat. Like I completely got off like rails. Like,
Oh, hold on. Yeah, no, I was like locked in your story. That's why.
yeah, I know. I went off trail. I'm like, fuck, I forgot what my point was. It's all good though. But yeah, I think every barber does that. I think every barber has to come to realization. Like, look, like you have to put money in the bank. You have to be like solid with
Taxes stuff. Yeah. The like tax
oh,
stuff.
taxes. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like no, nobody. I definitely didn't pay my taxes at first. Like nobody pays like that shit. Because the first couple years you just don't know what the hell. Oh, I remember this. So I moved out first to friends, and I couldn't put that I was moving in. We had to put a different friend's name on that actually had income to show because I
Ah,
like he worked a warehouse job and I had nothing to my name basically, technically because of barbering. And then when I moved back out the second time after that, after I was in my mom's house, I stacked up all this money. I still couldn't. I had to go ahead and like get hookups from other people, meaning like that were the landlords or new people there that were like, okay, cool, like I'll let you slide. Because I still did. It was so hard, dude. Like it's just so much smarter to put the money in the bank, have that paper trail, so you don't have to go through loopholes to do actual people shit, right, or do real world shit.
yeah, exactly, bro. And not only that, but like the fact that I didn't pay my taxes, it was always in the back of my head, like one day this shit is gonna like fuck me up, bro. Like they're gonna walk in my house and arrest my ass right fuck.
But here's the sad thing: that's never gonna happen because every barber's it's too small scale. At the end of the day, no barber's
For
making
sure.
like the IRS is more going after people who like are mid tier, like 200 to maybe a couple million a year, because that's where they can make a really decent amount of money. They're really gonna. I mean, they'll go after people for a little bit of chump change, but it's like that's not their worry.
See, and you're right, it's chump change,
Yeah,
but because my mindset at the time, I
got
thought it
you
was
involved.
fucking balling, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, I got
yeah.
all this fucking money,
Here's the
done.
thing though too, like because you do that, you never want to grow the business because you're hesitant of like, oh, but then I have to actually do all this, and then what if I get fucked? Oh, I'm just gonna stay right here. I remember that was a thought in mine.
Comfortable, dude, just comfortable. Like I'm
Yeah,
telling, like
yeah,
when I start to like think about everything, like the number one thing that the fuck up barbers is just being comfortable, bro. Like it just boils down to like comfortability.
not bad, but it's also not good, right? It's
Yeah,
that little
exactly.
gray area.
Or like being too comfortable. Yeah, like thinking that like, okay, cool, this is it, And then, like I said, they will realize in a couple years, like I'm fucking miserable, and I convinced myself that I was that I was happy or whatever it was.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, I've been asking you a lot of questions. I mean, do you have anything like you can hop in with any questions you got as well too?
Let me see here. So like, for me. over time I had to raise, like the way that I thought and stuff. So I know like at one point in time, you were just like me, bro. You know what I mean? Like when you started to cut hair, like how much did you first charge?
Like in the backyard or in the shop?
Or just like in general, like when you start
Oh,
to like charge
$5.
people, like
I was scared shitless asking my boy Trevor. I was asking his dad to pay me $5 for the haircut, knowing that I fucked him up, right? And everyone looking at it, they're like, I was like, $5. And then he was like looking at me, he's like, all right, cool. And then I just got $5. He's like, fuck it. Like I charged, like it just made me feel like I actually got something, but I was so scared asking for it, right? I remember that
yeah,
so
yeah.
before that I was just doing like free haircuts in the backyard. And that was the first one. It was my first wave or like curl hair client, like because everybody else had straight hair. So he had like some waves going on and like a pretty sharp lineup. And I don't even think I fucking even cut 3 hairs off, honestly. I think I was so nervous. I was like tapping his forehead, making it seem like I was lining up. So they probably looked at me like, dude, you didn't fucking cut you. You asked $5 for this?
You're like, yeah, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess a good question for me to ask you, like what I was just saying was, at what point did you feel like you made it? You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
at what point you feel like you made it and you were like set, like you know what I mean? Set at what?
I did.
No.
No, no, not even after I retired, because I knew I could have gotten the thing up to 500 if I wanted to. So I think that was like really good of me to like always never feel like comfortable, because like I think I never thought I was set. Even when I was charging 16, $20, making 2 or 3K a month, I knew and I was saving money because I was living at my mom's house. I knew I wasn't set. I was just naturally like uncomfortable and like very I don't want to say self-conscious, but I did definitely didn't feel confident in myself at all, right? I felt
Gotcha.
very disappointed in myself. I felt very annoyed at the fact that this is what my life has come to. Like I thought I fucked my life up being a barber. Like I had dreams of like playing, like playing
That's
baseball,
right.
Legion level and like MLB. Like obviously I wasn't that good to play, but that was my ambition level. And so to go from that to then a few months later, now I'm in a shop and this is my life's trajectory. I'm like, this is so disappointed. I was disappointed in myself, just straight up. Like, and I don't think it ever left me. And I never felt like I made it. So even when I was charging 100, 150 and all that, I never felt at one point in time like I made it and I'm comfortable. It was always just like, what's the next thing? How can I make this better? How can I improve it? How much better can I be? That's like one staple that's always been a part of me is like how much better I'm this good, but I know how much I fucked up and maybe fucked around. How much better can I be now knowing what I know now, right?
Yeah. And another question too, like, so when I first saw, your stuff, you're saying how guys can charge, 60, 70, 80, 100, all these upper stuff. And I think when it came down to it, I was scared, right? Like I was scared and like I can't charge that, you know what I mean? What were some of the fears that you had to like let go to be able to raise, you know what I mean? Like raise everything up to like a higher level, a new standard.
Probably the only one I really had was when I first started, um, and fearing old friends, not that they would get pissed at me for charging more, right? But that they would make fun of me for thinking that I'm some business guy now, right? As a barber, and like thinking that like, oh, who does he think he is? Being on social media and like charging more, thinking like he's a hot shit, right? That's what I feared the most, and I feared more criticism of like um, putting myself out there. I feared more of just like people, you know, thinking I was dumb or something. That's what I fear. At least when I was a barber, right? And I had to
Yeah.
like, because I was more feared about like changing my image because everybody kind of knew who Daniel was as like the guy in high school, partied, played baseball, went to go play collegiate baseball. And then I got in this real. This was actually probably the comfortable thing I got into because I went to college and kind of just drifted away and kind of wasn't like didn't really hang out with a lot of people anymore because I was very embarrassed about getting cut by the baseball team and not doing well. And it was my own damn fault because I didn't pan out. Like, I told everybody, "Oh, you'll make the team. This is all good," and then it didn't happen. I was so embarrassed. The most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. Right? That I kind of just like went back in the shadows a little bit. Just I was so afraid to be seen again and to be great and try something and fail in front of everybody again. That was the thing. Like I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, there he goes. He's gonna fail at this shit again." That
Yeah.
was probably the biggest thing I had to get over was putting myself back out there again, which is kind of weird now thinking about it. I had that it might be a big thing for me in development wise. Like I had the same thing when I went into building new era barbering and elevated mentorship. I had the same like legit. I just had that clicking light bulb and was like that was the same thing that happened to me. I was so afraid of like, oh my God, what if people think I'm gonna fail at this, right?
Yeah. So where do you think you would be right now, like if you just stayed, like I'm cutting hair at like $50 a haircut,
I
like
probably wouldn't be. I wouldn't be cutting hair. Like I'm just somebody who's not going to stay in the same place. I'm gonna
gotcha.
at some point in time. I'm gonna get fidgety. I need to see growth because like it would like I did that and it annoyed the fuck out of me and I swore I would never do it again. So once I'm moving in a direction, I'm going. It's kind of like just for me, like once it's a decision made, it's done deal with anything. And I don't think I would have gotten. I mean, I've known people who I was around that was like growing and they got to 50 and got comfortable. And I don't see any of myself in that whatsoever. I don't see myself as that type of individual, and I don't see myself as that. I'm very self-reflective too. So like I'll always like kind of put myself in check and be self-aware of like where my thoughts are going. I'll always be very studious, so I'll always like kind of make sure I'm either reading something or relearning or developing myself. Kind of keep me on my p's and q's and also always redefining like what that thing I'm trying to go after is. That way, it's always just like no matter how far I get, it's still like I'm on the day one, like still brand new learning. Very like I have a very scrappy mindset. I try to always keep very scrappy, and very underdogish type of like mentality overall. Rebellious too.
Yeah, for sure. Let me get a little drink real quick.
Good.
Hold on 1 second, bro. I'm trying to get my notes real quick.
What about you? What about you? Like, what do you feel like you would be doing? Because like, if you're still like, I don't know, let's say just you were even at 30.
Yeah, so like I'm still in it, right? Like I'm still trying to like get everything up,
Yeah, you're in the middle of it,
and
actually, right?
yeah, like I'm smack dab like in the middle of it, right? So right now I feel good because like I know I'm working towards something now. You know what I mean? Like I feel good and I'm working towards something, and now I'm mad as fuck because I'm not where I need to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like should be.
Yeah. You know what? You know what? You kind of need to happen too. And I was like interjecting and kind of give you some insight. You always need to have a slight bit of worry that what you're doing might not work out if you don't improve it. You always like that. For me, I always notice I have confidence that I can get something done, but I always have that unwavering like nervousness and anxiousness of like, oh my god, this might not work. I have to get it better. If I don't have that type of pressure internally or stress, I can't. I know for myself, I'm going to be too chill and too relaxed, too laid back. And I think a lot of people fall into that where you're confident about yourself, yet there's nothing pushing you of like, hey, the obvious thing is like you might fail. This is a big
Yeah,
might fail, and I always am aware of that. And I'm like, oh fuck, this might not work if I don't continue, if I don't get my shit together and keep pushing it forward. And I think you have to have a decent amount enough of that to where it pushes you forward, but it doesn't negate you from doing the work or from improving yourself, right?
yeah, for sure, bro. And that's actually a good thing that you said that because I've been in the program for what, like I think I joined in June,
Sure.
May, June, October, so about 4 months, and everything's been going great, and up until recently, bro, I would say like the last three weeks, all the doubt started to like come back in my head. You know what I mean? Like slowly, and I started to think to myself like, man, like maybe, maybe I can't do this, or like maybe like I'm cut out, you know what I mean, for
Mm,
this.
mm.
And what it was, bro, it was my old mindset
Yeah.
like trying to like attack me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like the good thing is like being in this and being around everyone who wins and being around everyone who's has the same mindset as you.
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't in this right now, bro, and all these thoughts raced in my head, I would just go back to the old me, like right away, bro.
Yeah.
And seeing everybody win and seeing everybody like do things, growing and stuff. I'm like, okay, I got in a rut for like 2 days, and then I was like, I need to fucking snap back into it. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing everybody. You know what I mean? So like just like you said, bro, it was having that like stress, you know what I mean? Kind of just in the back of you, like fuck, like I need to fucking do something. Like I can't let this old mindset fucking get me. And then because I know what that leads to, and I don't want to go back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what it is, and like again too, it's just the realization of like, oh fuck, what I'm doing might not get me to where I want to go. Like it's just the awareness of like the level I'm operating this at is not going to get me to where I want to go potentially.
No, for sure, bro. Because like, like I said, when I joined,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was doing all the work, right? And I was starting to see like results. I was seeing like results. And I got stuck. And then that's when it kind of hit me like, okay, if I need to go to that next level, I need to work that much more harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I got comfortable in a certain like work frame that I was like, okay, if I could just work at this pace, like I'll be good. Once again, getting comfortable.
yeah,
Once again,
yeah,
getting fucking comfortable. You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I have to keep fucking going. You know what I mean? Push harder
yeah.
because life is hard, bro. Whether you decide to like do something about it or not. You know what I mean? So is it gonna be hard in that direction or is it gonna be hard in this way? You know what I mean?
And again, too, it's just the simple. Like again, I always have it like there's always a thought that crossed my mind every day. Like what I'm doing might not work out. I have to improve it, and like that forces you to like again push through any like plus time you get lazy, you want to draw back. Oh man, everything's good. It's like no, just think, like just reflect. Like fuck, this might not work out. I don't know if it will, and I have to make it work out. So I'm gonna do as much as necessarily and humanly possible to make sure this thing works out in my favor. Right?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah.
And it's just like trying to change that mindset of like just trying to just get out of that rut that everybody is in and they don't even realize that they're in a rut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How would you say you need to identify that? Because again, too, like I think that's a big point. Like, how do you even identify you're in a rut?
How do you identify you're in a rut?
Like, how did you identify that you're in a rut? Maybe like how have you identified it in the past, or like anything you would even recommend to other people?
um I mean, kind of like the like what we've been saying this whole time, man, is just like realizing how comfortable you are
Mm.
and just not being happy. I think that's the main thing. Like I just wasn't happy. You know what I mean?
Being honest with yourself about that too, not just out of like, oh, I'm not grateful, but like, are you truly genuinely happy? Like, I'm proud.
Yeah. No, and I've literally asked myself,
We're so proud, right? Like really, really proud. Like you're bragging proud, not just like I'm proud of myself, but like I know I fucking did that shit, right? Nobody can fucking touch me on that shit. That type of proud, right?
yeah, exactly, bro. And like I've really told myself that. Like I've asked myself, like, am I happy? Like, am I genuinely happy? I think that's a good question to ask you, or not you, but just like everybody should ask themselves is, am I happy? Like, am I genuinely fucking happy?
Yeah, I still feel like just knowing barbers, dude. I feel like a lot of bars are like, yeah, I'm happy. And they're making like 2K a month, and I'm like, oh, man, all right, like
They're comfortable. They're
yeah,
comfortable, right?
I think just it just goes back to the belief system, right? If you believe that like that 2K a month is a good enough to get you by that 4K a month, 8K a month. Like, dude, you can look at my fucking TikTok. People will be talking about like when I'm spazzing out, why the fuck 8K a month isn't even enough? And people are like, dude, it's fucking good. And I'm like, oh my god, like okay, understand the context, like maybe to a certain demographic, but if you own a business, it's really not that big of a deal. You have to think bigger. Like you're in competition like in business like Elon Musk making what $31 million a day. That's the potential of running a business, and you're
Yeah.
over 108K a month. Dude probably makes that like in a blink of an eye, like probably more than that, honestly.
And like what I realize is like me charging, $15 a haircut or me charging $50 a haircut, right now that's what I'm at. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you're just making a little bit more money, but guess what? You're gonna find ways to spend a little bit more money.
Yeah,
So it's nothing fucking changes. Like everyone thinks like once they reach a certain price point, like everything's gonna fucking change, and then you get there and you realize that has fucking changed. You know what I mean?
mm. Well, like for you, like you're in a different case as a barbershop owner.
Yeah.
What do you think the industry like needs to do instead? Like, what do you feel like the industry is like lacking right now as a whole, right?
Um.
Because you've been to barber shows, right? You've been to enough barber shows, kind of
Yeah,
getting.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I've been a few.
I haven't been to a show since like 2019, maybe. So I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
taking out of like what industry is going on. Of course, I know everybody in like the business wise, but like for you, inner workings of like people who are outside the program, right? Because I can be a little bit jaded.
Yeah. Mm, let's see here. What are you asking again? I'm sorry. Like, what's
Yeah,
the actual
what do you feel like
question?
is missing in the barber industry? What do you feel the barber industry is lacking overall?
Um,
Call it out, give them shots. Come on, don't be afraid.
I think everyone's lacking. Let's see here, bro. Honestly, like a belief that they can do more, bro. You know what I mean? That like
That thing again, belief.
I think that's what it just comes down to, bro. Is like a belief that they can accomplish more. You know, I really feel like a lot of barbers just have it in their head, bro. That like once they get to $40 or whatever, you know what I mean? That like that they're done. That like okay, this game over. You know what I mean?
I think the biggest thing is thinking that barbering is a career to like stay in forever. Like it's a cash flow business to get your money up and then move you to the next thing. I think a lot of barbers that's the at least to me, I think so every barber should view the industry. Because it's not like, dude, at 40 years old, you really want to be standing for 10 hours a day, fucking
Uh,
cutting.
hell no, bro. Hell no.
Right? It's a young man's game. It's like when you're in it, you can grind out for pretty long. But if you've been doing this for 20 years, man, what the fuck are you doing? You haven't taken care of shit, right? In my personal opinion.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Like I'm 28, right? And my feet fucking hurt, bro. You know, like my fucking hurt. So I can't imagine 10 years from now still cutting hair all fucking day. You know what I mean?
I don't know how people. I don't know. I think the OGs must be just trying to trick their own minds of like, oh man, it's great, man. Barber will give you everything you want. Like you've been cutting for 20 years. Like, bro, like your hair splitters are probably older than me, honestly. Like legit, you probably have hair splitters. Like people who've been cutting hair for like they're in the 50s, 60s, that are probably older than me. Um,
Yeah.
and just like I don't know. I think barbers in itself just need to think not this industry is like the end all be all. I think a lot of people think like once they become a barber and they get the license, like you said, that's it. I made it. It's like, dude, what the fuck? This is just like this is just like the starting out point. This should be the trajectory or the vehicle to get you that next thing, not like the end all be all. This is like, dude, we come here, collect your cash, get the fuck out, go on to the next thing. Utilize it as it is. No, it's not something you want to be doing one-to-one service for the rest of your life. It's piss poor in my opinion for that.
Yeah. And I think you know, you made a good point at one time that like it's not a good thing to because it's like how do I say this? I was cutting hair, right? And then somebody asked me, they were like, hey bro, like what happens if you're gone for a week? Like how do you get paid? And
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't get paid, bro. Like if I don't cut hair, like I don't make money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then when I told them that, you know, I kind of it hit me. Oh fuck! If I don't cut, I don't make fucking money. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I hurt myself or if I break my arm or like fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I you know, and it's realizing like, damn, like I don't want to have to worry about that either, though. I don't want to have to worry about like, man, like if I don't work, I don't make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's a business, but it's not like a I don't want to say it's not a legit business, but it's just it's not a good business to run until you're fucking you
Yeah.
die. You know
I
what I
feel
mean?
like
Until you die.
similar to like construction. Like construction, you can make decent money. That's my assumption. Like from people I've heard that work construction, but you don't want to
Yeah.
make construction for the rest of your life, right? You want to make your money and like get the fuck out and like go do something else. But people get stuck in that, or like let's say a warehouse job, right? Where I know when I came out of high school, one of my best friends, he was working a warehouse job. He was making more money than everybody else. Dude was a baller in my opinion, right? But
Yeah.
like some people, I think I haven't talked to him forever. He might still might be working a job. He might not be. Hopefully not. But like I think a lot of people get stuck in working warehouse jobs too. Same thing. Like it's like, dude, those aren't like careers. Those are like jobs that like they fill people in and out. And like, you know, that should be your cash grab. Save as much as you can. Not like get your life and get a house and all that shit, but stack up, live by below your means, and then move on to the next thing. Start a business, go into something else that can figure jump. My biggest thing is like, dude, figure jump. Go. You should be making go from like what, making 5 figures a year to 6 figures a year. Barber can definitely do that for you. Then 6 figures a year, you should be looking at 7 figures, right? And then wherever this
Yeah.
month, then from that model, go from 7 to 8 or 9, right?
Yeah, bro. And I think it's just once again a belief that like I can't make that much money. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's
Yeah,
like why not?
yeah. It's
Why not?
like why not try? I've just always been like, man, like why not try? Can I do it? Like,
So like okay, so like before I joined, right? I seen all these guys that you've worked with, right? That are charging $100, $150. So when I joined, I had like a certain mindset about them. Like, man, like these guys are just, you know, they had a advantage before they joined, or they're, you know what I mean, making up like all these things.
yeah, yeah,
And then once I joined, I realized like, oh fuck, like I can get there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like anybody can get there if you just put in the work. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think that's what made it real for me is like seeing these guys and like working with them, and then like man, these guys are just it's a normal fucking guy like me.
Different
You know what I
from
mean?
yeah,
Just a normal fucking person. There's nothing different about them.
they get
The
their
only
ass chewed
thing,
out by
the
me the same
only,
way.
yeah, and they get their ass chewed out, if not more. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I'm harder on them if anything.
And then I realized like the only difference between this guy and me is that they've just been working harder than me, longer than me. You know what I mean?
And doing the
So
right
now
thing.
and doing the right thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, doing the right thing for longer. You know what I mean? And then also a moment for me was like, fuck, what have I been doing the past fucking 6 years, bro? Like, what
Mm,
have I been doing the past 8 years? Like, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I've in the past 8 years of cutting hair, I've gone up $20.
yeah.
You know
So
what I mean?
like
Like,
yeah, like bro, like when you put it like 8 years, $20, like what is that? I
bro,
mean,
it's
10 years,
ridiculous.
$10 every four years. Was that $2 every 2 years,
But
basically?
I was, like I said, I was making excuses, once again in my head, why these guys were charging more than me and why it was okay and why it was not okay for me. And then I joined the program and then I realized I could fucking do this. Anybody could fucking do this. You know what I mean? They
Facts.
just got to put in the work. Like literally anybody can do this. Like they're not special. They're not, you know what I mean? They've just worked harder, worked smarter than me for longer.
I wanted to let you finish that rant because I definitely don't want people to think my math is terrible. I meant $5 every 2 years. I said like $2. Oh, as soon as I said it, I'm like, fuck, that's the wrong math. Someone's like, this guy sucks. What the fuck? No, but yeah, I completely agree with your point, dude. Like overall, like there is nothing, and like there is nothing different. Like I fucking tell you guys. I think said this on fucking Thursday's Q&A call. Where I was like, dude, a lot of you are more talented than me at cutting hair. A lot of you are more talented than me at marketing as a barber. I just had the tenacity of doing more reps. Like I would probably surpass every single one of you. We all start at the same time because I would be doing more reps more than you. I would just be outworking you all. I'm not the most like talented individual at all in running a business. I know I'm not. I know my flaws. I think it's a big advantage that I have. And I think what every single individual who's gotten success in the program, I've always told them like, this is your main flaw. Fucking work on it. And like when you understand what your biggest flaw is, and you kind of like you work with your strengths and not try to make your flaws like the main focal point of like your arsenal, right? Because it's war. Business is war. How can you strategically
Yeah.
like scale up a business in the midst of war? And like, are you going to use like your weakest points, your weakest men in war? Or are you going to use your strongest points, your strongest men? Of course, you're going to use strongest men, right? You're not going to send some fucking weaklings out there to fight for your country. It's the same thing in the business. Fucking
Yep.
third stringers to go up against like the 2000s Ravens defense, right? You put a fucking Tom Brady and be like, hey, go at it, boy, right? Like it's the
Yep.
same mentality. I think barbers don't look at themselves as that, like, okay, what are my attributes? What am I actually strong at? What am I weak at? Right?
Yeah, and I think that was another thing too, like another lie that I, told myself was like, I can't charge that much because my haircuts need to be flawless, like perfect. Like I need to do like the most blurriest fade, like everything needs to be on point or else I can't charge that. And I think one time I heard you say to somebody else, you were like, bro, I was charging I think you had said you were charging like 60 or 70 at one point and like you were doing like average ass haircuts, like
Below average.
basic,
I was
like below
embarrassed.
average haircuts. And
I
I'm
was like,
like,
how am I charging this? And still getting clients. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible.
yeah, and that's when it hit me. I'm like, man, like this guy just really works smarter and not harder. You know what I mean? Like
Client acquisition, dude. Like you can still,
marketing,
yeah,
like marketing is everything, bro. And I think a lot of barbers don't know how to market themselves. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I've done more marketing in the past 3 months, 4 months that I've been in this than I have in the last 8 years, bro.
really.
Because what stopped me in the past was like I I didn't know what I was doing and I felt like I was just posting random shit and like yeah I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have like a
Didn't know if
reason
it
to
convert,
post
didn't know if it would bring in clients.
a
You're like,
purpose. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, look, I see what all the fucks out in the industry are saying. Post every day, right? And they're like, there's no substance behind it. It's like, okay, you could do that, but you're not going to get results. I know I say that, but it's just like because people want something to be like, oh, what do I got to do to get new clients? I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you the secret sauce and what we do because it's like honestly, like you're not going to implement the tracking sheets. You're not going to know what to do with the tracking the data. There's no point in me going over this unless I work with you and explain this. And even then, you're still going to have questions on it. So post and good luck, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but it's like at
And
the end of the day, like posting every day and or doing that shit. Can you get some clients on that? Absolutely. Can you scale to 20K a month? No, because like for every barber, like, I mean, who's not charging, who's like posting every day, show me somebody who's like just randomly posting every day and actually making 20K a month. It's probably like less than 0.0001%, if that.
Yeah, and I think everybody too needs to like stop thinking so highly of themselves and like stop thinking like they fucking know it all. You know what I mean? Because I know I hit a point too where I'm like I felt like I knew it all. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to like post on like Instagram, you know what I mean? Like I don't need that shit. Like I
It's
you
so
know, I
barbers like that too, dude. Like there's a lot of barbers who have that mentality.
yeah, and you have to let that go, bro, because you know, when I joined, like I said, when I joined the program and seeing everything and seeing everybody, I was like, man, I don't know shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And when it hit me, like I just said, I've accomplished more in these past 4 months and I've honestly more than I've accomplished in the past, like, 6 to 8 years of cutting it. Like I've learned so much, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And you can't put a number on that amount of value that like this has, you know what I mean?
Sure. Well, look for you. Like, why do you think barbers are like that? Because, like, I know for me, I was very studious. There's a few that are very there's a few that are like very good students. I'm not gonna say myself. Like sometimes I'll be a little bit dick sometimes, and like think I am high minded. So I'm like, okay, well I don't know shit. Joel's one of those who's always very studious. He's South Bay. Chris is another one who's always very studious. There's a few people. Why do you, in your opinion, why do you think the majority of the barber industry is kind of like that closed minded, and they think once they make, again, just think about it. You're making 6K a month, and you think you're the shit and know everything, right? Why do you think that happens?
Um, oh man, that's a good question. Like I said, they say once I hit 6K a month, I'm the fucking man. So once they do hit 6K a month, they convince themselves that they're the fucking man. You know what I mean? And they fucking know it all, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just my perks again too. I have an interesting like I guess space because I get to see everybody. I get to talk to a lot of barbers who aren't in the program, aren't in the program, and like I get to see a lot of different people's mindsets overall. And the thing that just
Yeah.
stands out to me is like, um, you know, it's like you created something on your own, right? It's like a little kid who just made a Lego set and like you didn't follow any of the directions and it's all fucked up, but it's kind of like it's a truck that rolls, at least, right? It might be clunky, the wheels might be weird, but it's yours, you made it. You kind of have some pride over it, like, no, it's mine. Like, and you get very defensive. Somebody says like that's fucking trash, it's not, doesn't look anything like the box. No, it's mine, right? It's like these, like a lack of like maybe emotional intelligence or how to take feedback, and like thinking that like maybe if it's not correct, then you're a failure, right? Like and trying to protect the ego, right?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure, right? And
go ahead.
exactly what you're saying though, right? So like it's this little, Lego set that they made and it's a little wonky, right? And
Yeah.
what they have though, like around them is their mom and their dad and their family saying, "You did a great job."
Yeah.
Like that is
Yeah.
fucking like good job. Like
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm the kid from down the block,
you
like,
are the
that's a piece
best.
of fucking shit. The fuck you doing? And
Exactly.
they're like,
Bro,
no,
and more people need that though. More people need to like, hey, like good job, but like that fucking sucks. It fucking sucks ass, bro. And I think a lot of guys don't want to hear that and they're like afraid to hear that. Not only afraid to hear that, but like they're surrounded by people who don't want to tell them that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're surrounded by people that are like telling them what they want to hear
Yeah.
instead of what they need to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of barbers, when they see your stuff, they get kind of like hurt and like offended, and they start writing hate comments because their whole barbering career they've been told what they want to hear and not what they should hear. You know what I mean? It's not their mom saying, "Oh, you did a good job, mijo." It's the fucking random guy on the street saying, "Dude, that shit fucking sucks." You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Wake your shit up, bro. This shit's fucking
Yeah,
dog shit.
ass, bro. You know what I mean?
Everybody in the program, everybody in elevator measure, every single, man, this shit's fucking ass. I mean, like you like I've toned it down, but like when Greg first joined in Paris, it was just like, look at the video, I'm like, dude, this is fucking ass. What the hell are you bringing this to me for, right? Like, I would just rip into those fucks every single day. But I think you're on par. I mean, there was even a guy that commented on like one of my YouTube videos. He's like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, the first 5 minutes, the first 10 minutes, I thought you were out of your mind, batshit crazy. But the more that I listened to it, I was like, dude, this guy's 100% correct. I think it's again too when you just get out of that like mindset of like, again, too, yes, good job, you built your own Lego set, but it looks nothing like the fucking box, and it's actually a piece of shit. Let's rework it so you actually have a fucking like something that's actually good and going in the right direction, right?
Yeah. And I think that's it right there, bro. Like I said, people are comfortable at looking what they made, and they're like, well, I mean, it fucking rolls, you know, like it's kind of slow. It doesn't roll that
It kind of looks
good.
like a car. Kind of looks like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's I know what it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
I know what
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
You might not know what it is, but I know what it is.
I'm creative. I'm an artist. It's called art.
Yeah, exactly. But if you take that toy car, right, and you roll it down a hill compared to another car that was actually built the right way, that
Yeah,
other car is gonna go fucking way faster and blow that shit out of the water,
yeah.
bro. You know
Facts,
what I mean?
facts, facts.
So
Yeah.
why not take the time to build it the right way
Mm.
and watch it go faster, longer, you know what I mean? And you're gonna see more results, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully not too long, because I don't want anybody in the fucking barber industry for like 20 years. I want you like out of the industry for free, dude. Honestly.
Yeah, and that well, I mean, exactly what I said too right now is like that fucked up toy car, it's gonna take forever to get there, right? And that's you staying in it until you're fucking 60, 70, or you're gonna build it the right way and it gets there fast, you know, 3 to 5 years and you're done, you're out, you know what I mean? You've
Yeah, you're out.
done it the right way.
Yeah, you're not a fucking loser cutting hair still. Like,
Yeah, because but honestly, like, you know, there's a point when somebody asked me, they're like, "You want to cut hair like forever?" And I was like, yeah, bro. And then like whenever he left, I was like, fuck, like I never thought about that. Like I am gonna be cutting hair forever. Like I don't fucking know if I want this. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, you know, after learning so much, I'm like, I don't want to be cutting hair forever. Like, fuck no. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, like when did that moment hit you? Like how long ago was that moment? Was that in the program, before the program?
No, it was honestly not too like a month ago, a couple months ago, bro. You know what I mean? A couple months ago. It was just like consistently being around everybody who challenges the way you think, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And the way that your mindset is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because before I joined the program, like I was convinced and I was okay with being a barber for the rest of my life.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like I thought that's where my life was. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm a barber.
Yeah.
And then, you know, joining it and, you know, seeing how everybody, you know, everybody's mindset and being like, fuck, dude, like I don't want to be a barber forever. You know what I mean?
Let's take a pause right here. Let me go to the bathroom real quick, and then
Okay.
go to get some questions ready. All right, hang on one second. So for those of you that were watching the fucking video, you can see me like struggling to wait for fucking my guy to fucking like finish up his sentence. Taking forever on that last note. So what we're gonna do to wrap up the podcast real quick and wrap up the video. We're gonna go like 5 rapid fire questions. We do a little time, wrote a little 5 questionnaires each. You can be real quick. I'm gonna fire them off first, and you can finish this off. All right. So like my first question: Would you have your son be a barber? Why or why not?
No, I would definitely want him to be more than a barber. I
That's it. Cool. Would you choose to be a
Okay.
barber again if you could go back, or would you do something different? And if you would be different, what would it be?
I know for sure I would definitely want to still be in a business, like being my own boss, and it would definitely, yeah, just being my own
Sure.
boss still for sure. Yep.
Be your own boss. What would the next thing be if you could choose anything to do next after barbering, and what industry would that be in?
I think it might be something like with what you know have here, you know, because it's what I know, and you know, I know once I'm done with this, I'm gonna have a lot to share, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To like help everybody.
Absolutely. Worst client to cut personality wise.
The guys that don't say shit and think that they're too good to be sitting in your chair.
I love those guys. I love when people. I love not talking to people. That's the best thing. Last one. Cringiest thing you see barbers doing on social media.
Cringiest thing I see barbers doing on social media. Brag about how long they've been cutting hair.
Oh, that's a good one.
And yeah, I think that's it now. I think that like that never used to like be like a thing, and now it just bugs the shit out of me. It bugs the shit out of me now, bro.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't fucking matter, bro. Like you look dumb now, like bragging about how long you've been here.
Yeah. Cool. All right, what you got? What 5 you got for me? Fire them off.
How important is it for barbers to be around winners and people who just want to win?
The only thing, right? It's the only thing you should worry about. You just said it like in terms of like you got to level up people because you think too small. It's the only thing you should be worried about. Buy into different rooms, pay for different rooms. It's still what I do. I'll pay 50K to be in a mastermind for 12 months just to be in a different room with people.
Gotcha. What is the quickest way to shift your mindset?
Read, challenge your
Uh,
beliefs.
how does being comfortable ruin anybody's life?
Well, you don't never make progress. You know what you're gonna get. There's no surprise in that. There's no purpose in life. You know what you're gonna get.
Do you enjoy being uncomfortable?
No, but I enjoy the results.
There you go. And then the last one, what keeps you motivated every day? Like, what's your why?
Potential, just like the what if, like curiosity. That's simply it. Just very curious kid. Very curious about like the possibility of like doing the what if of letting my imagination run, and then what if could I do that? What would it look like? How would that feel like? Right? Just the imagination part, curiosity.
Oh, yep. That was my last one, bro.
Well, dude, I appreciate you hopping on this. If I had you back on, dude, I really like. I know you had maybe some more questions, and we might go over that in another one. I don't want to take 3 hours of your time, but I appreciate you, my guy. And then, dude, until next time.
Brother. Yes, sir. Thank you.